Hey Libra, it's Erica with Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. I apologize for the construction noise in the background. They're busting up old asphalt and laying new asphalt, and it's gonna be a little bit before I'm able to have just complete quiet for recording. So I've got to get out of town. I've got to take my younger son back to his father's house. He's got football practice he's got to get ready for. But I want to get as many of these videos shot as possible and uploaded as possible, so that means there's going to be background noise for me to be able to do this. I apologize. Hopefully when the full moon videos come around, it won't be a problem. I have a couple of announcements, and then I'll get to your information astrologically, Libra. Firstly, welcome, wow, and thank you to the almost 300 new subscribers that have joined this channel in the last month. I'm blown away. Seriously, y'all are making me speechless. I don't even know what to do with myself. Every morning for the last 2 weeks, it's just been subscription after subscription just rolling in, and it's been a real joy, honestly. So thank you so much for joining this channel and liking and subscribing. The private readings that I do are on hold for right now. I'm having issues with my banking system now. Saturn's in my second house, so this too shall pass. Even if it feels like a kidney stone, it will pass. The second announcement is that I'm going to have several video links below because of the Saturn square Neptune aspect that's been mirroring the last 2 new moons that we've had in July and in June. I'm also going to link a 1 degree Sagittarius vlog speaking on the fixed star Antares that will be speaking very strongly in the mid-month for us. And the last thing that I want to really announce very quickly is that I'm issuing an Astro Nerd heads up. It's really a mouthful. I probably need to rethink that. The next video series that I release is going to be for the new moon lunar eclipse at 25 degrees Aquarius, and that will be occurring on August 18th. And the solar eclipse that's going to happen in September is squaring Saturn, and this will be highlighting issues of fear and guilt for us all. So those are just the quick announcements. Once again, welcome and thank you to everyone who is new here. I hope you continue to enjoy these videos. To the people who have already been here, to my old school subscribers, thank you so much for being here. I say old school like I've been around forever. This channel isn't even 4 months old. So, wow. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to get your personal information, Libra, that will apply especially to Libra Sun or Libra Rising, and then we'll move on to the Tarot portion. But I'll have all of this timestamped for you. Once again, I'll be right back. Thanks, y'all. Hang on. Hey, Libra, I'm back with your full moon forecast. Or, yeah, the new moon forecast, sorry. For you, astrologically, what we have going on for this new moon on the 2nd, it's a new moon in Leo at 10 degrees, 57 minutes, almost 11 degrees. We'll have the sun, the moon, and Venus in your 11th house. The sun represents your life force and your creative abilities. The moon represents response and intuition. Venus is the planet of harmony, love, and beauty, and it will all be in your 11th house. The 11th house is the house of friends, groups, future wishes, also memberships and associations that you may belong to. Also speaks to bucket list type energy. There's going to be an easy flow of energy from the sun to Saturn, creating a trine in your 3rd house. Saturn is the planet of limitation, structure, and containment. And the 3rd house is the house of communication, short-distance journeys, siblings, cousins, and neighbors. Communication isn't just the way that we speak, it's also dealing with how we communicate, the technological devices that we use, and also our vehicles. So you may have issues in that house from your 3rd house to your 6th house because there's a square between Saturn and Neptune that is going to present stressful obstacles to your 6th house. So between your communication and your work and health. So you may be having a hard time either communicating at work or getting to work because the 6th house deals with work and health. If you aren't working, then it does speak to your health situation. Neptune is the planet of nebulousness, illusion, imagination. It can also speak to addiction. Yeah, so there may be an issue with boundaries not being respected at work, or you may be having some addiction problems in your health. We have the newly retrograde Uranus in your 7th house. Uranus is the planet of change, liberation, and rebellion. It is also the planet that represents shocks and surprises. The 7th house speaks to partnerships, identification with others, counseling, and open enemies. Open enemies can be like testifying in open court against someone. You have Pluto in your 4th house. Pluto is the planet of deep renewal and transformation. The 4th house speaks to home and family. Home can be your home or where you consider home. Family can be your immediate family, children and or fur babies, or it can speak to your parents. There's also the Centaur asteroid called Chiron retrograde in your 6th house, which deals with work and health as well. So there could be a real need for some healing in your work or health sector. And it may be a foggy situation or a nebulous situation arising in work or health. So pay attention to those areas, Libra. On the 3rd, we have Mars moving into your 3rd house. Mars is the planet of aggression, energy, and impulse going into your 3rd house, which is a house of communication, short-distance journeys, siblings, cousins, and neighbors. So be careful in driving and in your communication, in your speech, especially with siblings, cousins, and neighbors, because you're going to be very forceful and direct, and it may be too much for people to deal with. Which doesn't sound like you, Libra, but Mars is pretty strong energy. On the 6th, we have Venus, your ruler, moving into the 12th house with Mercury and Jupiter. Venus is the planet of harmony, love, and beauty. The 12th house speaks to limitations, repression, karma, self-undoing, and secret enemies. It can also be the house of secrets that you keep from yourself or dreams. You may be having a really, you may have that very inspired dream that could lead to resources or love, dealing with Venus coming into that sector. The 12th through the 17th, we have Jupiter opposite Chiron, and this will be happening between your 12th and 6th house. You may be having a hard time sleeping, and it may be dealing with issues over work or health that has got you feeling sleepless. On the 13th, we have Saturn going direct at 9 degrees Sagittarius, which is your 3rd house, and this will be occurring on the fixed star Antares. And I'm going to have a vlog posted down below speaking about Mars being very close to Antares and full moons, and this happened a few months ago, but it speaks to some of the energy that surrounds Antares and what it can manifest. The 3rd house definitely makes me think that you're going to have driving hazards or communication hazards. Be careful with your vehicle. Be careful when driving. Do not text and drive. It's just not a very good time for any of that. Be very, very aware of what you're doing, especially in your short distance journeys, especially in your communication. Be careful with your phone. Antares is a malefic energy, and it's known for destruction. It's known for the danger of fatality, and also dealing with very headstrong and obstinate energy. So just be careful. Also, I spoke about this in the introduction. On the 18th, we'll be having a full moon lunar eclipse at 25 degrees Aquarius, and that'll be occurring in your 5th house. The 5th house is the house of pleasure, social life, children, and creativity. So that's just a little heads up for you. I'm going to transition over to the Tarot and see what messages Spirit can bring forth through Tarot. I'll be right back, Libra. Hang tight. Hey Libra, I've got my cards back. It seems like the construction's kind of died down. It's getting to be about lunchtime, so hopefully those guys are taking a break and getting them some lunch so we can have a little bit of peace and quiet. Hopefully I'm not just talking noise. Hopefully that's what's going on. Work and health is a very strong theme. Also communication. That can be short distance journeys, how you get there. It can also be how you talk and interact with other people. And it can also focus on siblings, cousins, or neighbors. So just be careful in your work and health and be careful with those energies. The 3rd and the 6th. For my Libra friends. I don't know why, but I was led to do that. Let me cut. That one just twisted off to the side. I figured it needed to be brought forth as well. Bottom card for the underlying theme or the overarching energy, and the top 3 for clarity. Also going to grab an oracle card for you from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. The artwork is by Autumn Sky Morrison. This is my favorite oracle card deck. I enjoy being able to share these with you. Speaks to the rebel in me. I have Uranus natally in my 1st house, and I'm an Aries sun, so I also have Uranus in Aries. I'm feeling that rebellion. I'm quite the little rebellious soul. I can't imagine, and what a joy I must have been for my mother to have to raise. I'm sure it was an absolute joy. For my Libra friends. If you have to have a discussion with someone, please speak your truth in love. Understand not everyone is going to resonate with where you're coming from. Speak the truth from your perspective. Speak it in love. All you can do is control your intent and your execution. It's a quote from Jon Stewart. All right. Okay. This is the first reading that the Hanged Man has not shown up. I was kind of expecting to see him, so looks like your perspective is at least better than most. The underlying card that you got was the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. This is Dark Night of the Soul energy. This is Dark Night of the Soul. That's what I think of when I see this card. And I say that because each person's Dark Night of the Soul, each person's trials, you could be going through the same situation but still have different experiences. Do you see how they're both in the same situation, but her perspective is going to be different than his perspective? They're not even focused on the same thing. The 5 represents the 5th house for me. The 5th house speaks to pleasure, social life, children, and creativity. Pentacles energy represents resources, things that you can expend on another living thing or situation. Pentacles also speak to the earth energy or earth signs. Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. It doesn't have to be representative of them. It could be their moon or their rising sign. It just depends. You won't know that information unless you looked at their natal chart. But this in reverse indicates that someone thinks that their way is the only way. It indicates that either you or someone around you is only seeing this from their perspective and not even acknowledging other people's path. I feel like this individual is probably the King of Wands in reverse. The King of Wands is representative of fire energy. The fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. It doesn't have to be representative of that. It can just be their moon or their rising sign. Or they can just be very fierce and forceful in their means of communication. It's very emotionally reactive, and it looks as though very subjective when you really need to be objective. The first card that fell for the top 3 for clarity was the Queen of Cups in reverse. The Queen of Cups is very emotional and intuitive. The fact that she's in the reverse, it feels like it's an argument between you and someone that you do care about or share resources with. The cups, for me, more speak to like intimate relationships, but it could also be relationships where you share resources, which could speak to a work type relationship. The Queen of Cups could represent water sign energy. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. It doesn't have to be. It could also be just their moon or their rising sign. You won't know that unless you've looked at their natal chart. She's very focused on just one way. She's very focused on what's in this cup and isn't paying attention to anything else around her. Kind of like only seeing your way, your path, your perspective, and not giving acknowledgement to anyone or anything else's around it. It starts with the Queen of Cups and it ends with the King of Wands. So it can... Libra, if you are representative of the Queen of Cups, then you could feel as though your back is being... or that a fire sign male energy is turning their back on you. It may not be that you feel like the Queen of Cups. This could just be someone close to you. And I say that because the very next card is the King of Swords. And the King of Swords represents air sign energy. And the air signs are Gemini, you, Libra, and Aquarius. So this could be you. You could be surrounded by people who aren't looking at the situation appropriately from a balanced perspective. And if that's not the case, then there is a need for a balanced perspective to be given in the situation. And I say that there's a need for balance because the third card is the Temperance card in reverse. This guy uses his words, but he gets to the point and he's succinct in his argument. This could speak to, I think of lawyers when I think of like the swords, king and queen. Temperance is Major Arcana card. It is the 14th card in the Major Arcana. This is not the first time I've seen Temperance come up, and it's highlighting an ideal that there is a need for moderation and a need for balance, especially with this in the reverse. 14 breaks down to 1 plus 4 equals 5. You aren't having any astrological 5th house energy, but that doesn't mean that it can't be playing out in some way or speaking to it. The 5th house is the house of pleasure, social life, children, and creativity. The Temperance card is symbolic of Sagittarius or going questing. But it definitely speaks to the need for moderation and balance in all things, especially in the reverse. Upright, it speaks to discovering moderation. In the reverse, it speaks to needing to find moderation, that it's not there, that it's lacking. It could be that you're dealing with the illness of possibly a parent, and your brothers and sisters are finding ways to dull the pain, and you're the only one who's thinking clear-headed. It feels as though it's a very emotional time for you, though. Let me... Okay. This card, you got the 14th Major Arcana, which was Temperance, and you got the 5 of Pentacles. 14 plus 5 is 19. 1 plus 9 is 10, which speaks to career, status, reputation, authorities, which could be also authoritative figures, like her boss. And it also speaks to destiny. When I brought up 1 plus 4 equals 5, and I said you weren't having any direct astrological influence, you will be having the full moon lunar eclipse in your 5th house, and that could be speaking to Temperance. The fact that it's a full moon lunar eclipse, for me, speaks strongly to the feminine energy on that side. So, female friends, female children. If not that, female parents or female animals. So that's what is coming forth for the Tarot. Just try to maintain a sense of balance, Libra. That's exactly what you need, because, I mean, you're representative of the scales. The scales, if you aren't in balance, everyone around you knows. Look at the situation from all available perspectives, and then try to look at it from even another perspective that you wouldn't even normally entertain. The Oracle card that I got for you was Be the Hunter, Not the Hunted. I love this owl card. I love owls. They're just so pretty to me, and of course they intuitively speak to wisdom and knowledge. Could be higher wisdom, higher knowledge, even possibly higher education. It also, for me, represents nocturnal things. Of course, this is the owl is a predatory bird. It's a bird of prey. So it's not saying go out there and be a stalker, Libra, but defend yourself if need be. The number 8 speaks to the 8th house, which is life, death, rebirth, regeneration, transformation, other people's money, and sexuality. You aren't having any direct 8th house energy, but you are having 7th house energy, where there's shocks and surprises, dealing with partnerships and how you identify with others. So it may be a shock and surprise where you have to defend yourself or defend your ground. Remember to speak your truth in love. Speak from your perspective and give analysis as to why you are annoyed or why you are bothered. If you can explain your emotion as opposed to just enacting your emotion, things find resolution much quicker. Let's see what the book says. Do you feel you're at the beck and call of circumstances, situations, and relationships that are out of your control? Is your attention being called away from what you love, from your passionate focus upon your own journey and creative self-expression? Are you feeling roped into becoming a support platonic, a savior, a heal-all for others. There's a big difference between healthy supportiveness in a relationship, which includes healthy self-support, and ignoring your own journey out of misplaced guilt, shame, unworthiness, or the belief that the needs of others are more important than your own. That is not compromise. That is unhealthy, and that is neglectful of yourself. This oracle brings you some important news. You are capable of seeing the truth, of outsmarting old patterns, and responding more creatively to craft new and improved relationships. You don't have to be drawn into the dramas of others or the suffering of repetitive struggles. You can become still and intent with a willingness to see the truth. In doing so, you will be open to being shown another way through the inner wisdom of your heart, or a flash of insight from the great universal mind that penetrates your own awareness. This oracle also brings you a particular guidance that there is a message coming your way. I also think Hogwarts when I think of this, so shout out to my Harry Potter fans. This message will be important to you, and you are not to paint it as anything more or less than what it is. Sit with your heart. Take with your time. Even if there is a deadline for your answer, you will be able to bend and stretch time so that in your relaxation, you can feel for what your truth is. And in the situation at hand, respond appropriately. The more honest your response without the need to be aggressive or apologetic, the more energy you will be unleashing from unhealthy patterns and into the new, fresh course your life now wants to take. This is a powerful time for you, no matter how seemingly small or how apparently dramatic events around you appear. Know that you are stepping into a new phase of empowerment, and from that place, a new freedom and self-love will emerge. Speak the truth in love. Defend your position. You can only control your intent and your execution. Everything else is up to other people's interpretation. Understand that we're all not going to understand each other's paths, but understand that we each have our own, and it's very important to us. I think that's something we can all take forward. Libra, I hope that this was empowering and enlightening for you. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Once again, thank you so much for being here and spending some time with me to talk about the stars. I am just so full of gratitude. Please be careful and take care of yourselves. Be very careful in your communication and your commute. Be careful with your communication devices. Be careful with your siblings, cousins, and neighbors. Also, if this isn't manifesting in your work life, or if you don't work, then please go get any sort of health ailments that may pop up checked out for you. Take care of yourself, Libra. Understand that all of this energy is hitting us all, just in different areas of our lives. I'll see y'all again at the full moon, but until then, take care of yourselves, and namaste, y'all.